Alright, y'all, now welcome back to a special episode of Black Mass Paranormal. Now, I have shot this freaking video like 3 different times. It's driving me crazy because I want to convey to you all everything that's like inside my brain, but it's really hard for me to do so. But with what is going on all in the world today, I thought it would be important for me to take a moment and kind of have a talk with you all. So, like I said, I filmed this video multiple times. I wanted to find a way to present this information to you all the best that I could without causing unnecessary alarms. However, yesterday, a House Intel representative named Mike Turner decided that he was going to kind of preemptively reach out and kind of cause a 5-alarm fire to go off in the United States. Now, if you all know what I'm talking about, some of those of you all overseas may not. Mike Turner claimed that there was a situation of national security that needed to be addressed because it would be a destabilizing situation. Now, don't get me wrong. I 100% think that this is going to happen. I believe that there is going to be a destabilizing event in the United States. But I don't think this is it. We're kind of at a weird situation in the United States right now. We have a group of politicians that have been in power for decades. And what they are doing is essentially using the Ukraine war to kind of funnel money back through our military industrial complex, which then gives money back to the politicians so they can campaign and run on their policies. I think this is fucked up. And I'm pro-military. Like, y'all, like, I am, look, I've got 5.56 rounds, 9mm. I'm wearing my old battalion sweatshirt. Behind the camera, there's a poster that says the old school U.S. Army poster that I want you for U.S. Army. Like, I'm 100% for the military. I'm 100% for giving the military as much funding as possible. But there is a caveat to that. We have to have our borders secure and our politicians in check. And right now, I don't think that they are. So, with all that being said, this is a situation that's been on my mind now for several months. What I'm talking about is this destabilizing event that could happen in the United States that would catch everybody off guard. And what I believe it's going to be is an EMP or a GMP. For some of my members, you all saw me address this kind of, and I had a lot of you all reach out to me asking me, what's an EMP? So what an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. Okay. This pulse can actually basically destroy electronics, not only in the United States, but all across the globe, if it's hit correctly. We know this because something happened in 1859 that caused complete panic. During 1859, we were still on a telegraph system. So all across the United States, these telegraph systems started to literally catch on fire. The entire system was shut down. This event was a result of a GMP. So a geomagnetic pulse. Now, the kind of language can get a little bit confusing when you're talking about this subject. So I'm going to try to explain it from the natural side of things first. These are current statistics. There is a 10% chance that a solar pulse, which is what happened in 1859, known as the Carington Event, could hit the Earth again and completely destabilize it. Now, imagine, just for a second, if somebody completely turned off all of the power, not just to your home. We're not talking about the emergency lights really in like even a hospital. We are talking about everything, because this pulse is so powerful, it fries the electronic circuits. So those generators that they had down there that were all geared up and ready to go in case there was an earthquake or tornado or some other kind of catastrophic event were to happen that we think about on a daily basis, those systems would be fried. So even in your hospitals, that stuff wouldn't work. That kind of trails down, okay? That goes to your local water distribution centers, your waste centers, your grocery stores. We're talking everywhere. Anything and everything. Your cell phone, which you're watching me on right now, would not work. It goes completely black. This is a result of the pulse that would hit the earth to cause a mass destabilization event. Now, if you really want to kind of go down the rabbit hole, recently, and some of you all may not have known this, and it's kind of called predictive programming. But anyway, this year, Barack Obama released a movie. Now, you all may not have seen this, may not have heard anything about it, but he produced a movie that showed basically what would happen if there was a mass destabilization event. There's a lot of big stars in this. You know, you got Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Kevin Bacon. There's several different large actors that decided that they were going to participate in this film. So my paranoia isn't necessarily derivative of this film. It's just kind of another alarm kind of going off in my head saying, hey, Brian, pay attention, because I'm showing you this. In my life, I've had some really close experiences that I shouldn't have made it out alive, or I should have ended up in jail. One of the two. And in my opinion, God stepped in during those moments and said, Brian, you're not going this way, you're going this way. And I was kind of driven in that direction. So with that being said, we know a geomagnetic pulse could hit the earth really at any point. It's totally random from my understanding. It's basically just a huge magnetic pulse that all of a sudden the sun ejects, that is full of a magnetic field and a plasmic discharge that from the coronosphere on the earth, meaning kind of the outermost layer of the earth or of the sun, that hits the heliosphere, which is the outermost layer of the atmosphere, and it discharges a magnetic pulse that just fries any type of electronics. Now, I know that verbiage was kind of weird and not something that I would use every day, but I've really been looking into this. And the deeper I go down this rabbit hole, the deeper I fall. Obviously, in the United States, and I just want to be clear, I'm not being political here. Like, I'm really not. Mike Turner, the head of the House Intelligence Committee, he's a Republican. For those of you all could probably figure out, those are the guys that I'm going to side with 99% of the time. Now, I'm not one of those people also that is so gung-ho about my political affiliation that I wouldn't side with the other side. I'm not like that at all. But the situation that we are in right now is that these people have been choosing sides. And on both sides, the younger crowd is kind of coming up and coming in and presenting their ideas. You know, you have people like AOC, which initially when she rose up, she was looked at by the Democrats as a massive leader. Today, if you were to ask those same people, the majority of them would say that she's sold out to the system. Now, what is that system? What a lot of people are going to wonder. This deep state that lives in the United States, that 4 years ago, nobody would even recognize kind of existed. This is only my opinion. This is a result of the military-industrial complex. It goes back to the bigger people that, there's a handful of corporations that essentially rule the world, and that in order to allow that funding to happen, they instigate certain issues. Now, for those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you know that I spent a lot of time on the U.S.-Mexico border. I spent a lot of time and I dealt with a lot of situations firsthand. So I have firsthand knowledge of what goes on on the border. I served there under the Obama administration. I served there under the Trump administration. I saw two different policies kind of go to work. But then in the media, I saw something completely and totally different. I saw the media blaming the Republicans for what the Democrats did. I saw the Republicans blaming the Democrats for not giving enough and not being security mindful enough. And the whole situation just kind of imploded to a point now where we're in a situation where both sides of the political aisle have elderly leaders, and the young bucks that are kind of rising up are either falling into the system or they're being prosecuted by the system. It's kind of one or the other. There's not a whole lot of in between. And as a result of that, we've let in, and these are small numbers, over 9 million people into the United States over the last 4 years, 3 years. Now, the United States is built on immigration. This isn't anything new to us. But we have to set those lines. And the American people need to understand that there's people in this world training right now to harm us. And it's so weird to me, because it just kind of flies right over people's heads. And I don't understand it. Because it's putting us in a situation where things are gonna get bad. So say 9 million people recently came across the border. Say half of 1% of those people decided that they wanted to cause harm in the United States. Like, they just didn't like us. I don't know why they wouldn't like us, but just for hypothetical, let's just say that they don't. That they crossed into the United States. They want to cause a problem. That's 45,000 people. 45,000 people. And that is half of 1%. Now, I don't know if you're listening, if you're paying attention, but the United States and the people of the United States, since the coronavirus, have stopped going into the office. The majority of people now kind of work from home. I see it in East Tennessee because back in the day, you either kind of worked on a farm or you worked at a local retail shop. There wasn't a whole lot of, startup businesses. That, there's no tech businesses. That's slowly changing, but the majority of people are reliant on their computers to bring in income. They're at home. They're totally reliant on the electrical grid. And if something were to happen to that electrical grid, they'd have no way of surviving. The majority of people have essentially stopped going outside. And it was a result of COVID. And, it's understandable, but those skills have slowly kind of melted away. So saying that if you want to cut down that figure even more, I mean, a quarter of that, 22,000, the further and further you go, that's still a massive number. That somebody could bring in some sort of device that could take out an electrical grid. Or they wouldn't even have to bring it in. They could bring in a person that could create a destabilizing event. In my opinion, I think that individual is already here. Now, this person was caught on the United States border.
Documents.
What country are you from?
I will not come here before. Me? I better keep it safe now.
You're in America. I mean, they're about to find out what country you're from.
Are you going to take where I'm from by force?
No.
So I will not tell you where I'm from.
So these are the people that are breaking into your country, folks.
You asked me, I answered you.
What he says.
That's amazing. These are the people right here. That kind of attitude.
Hey, let me educate
you. Could use
you.
it as a weapon. I'm not afraid. I'm so afraid.
Tripod to hold
I need
the
to
camera.
protect my family.
So you see, there you go. Violence. So there you go, guys.
These are the people that are coming
You guys are
in.
the ones laughing. You didn't know violence.
It's very easy to find my face, by the way. If you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy.
Terrorist attack, maybe? Terrorist attack?
Now, I'm not even going to attempt to try to say his name because I don't know what it is. But the more research that I did on him, he was basically charged of trying to overthrow a government. Now, granted, the party that he was against was extremely corrupt. And they prosecuted him essentially without a trial, and his 12 years in prison that he served probably made him pretty bitter, so in a way he had to flee. But an individual like that coming across, this is just one that knows, in my opinion, how to do this. And it would be very simple. You cut off the power. China has always said that it would never have to invade the United States. That we would tear ourselves apart. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, granted, in the past 4 years, there's been over 20,000 Chinese nationals come across the United States border. And now they're finding them on ranges. They're practicing their military skills. Now, I'm not sure why you would immigrate into another country and then start learning how to shoot. I mean, it is America, land of the free. But if one of these individuals had the will and they wanted to, they could very easily set off an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse. Now, an electromagnetic pulse is a little bit different because it's man-made. They're generally associated with the detonation of a high-altitude nuclear weapon. It's the precursor to when a nuclear weapon is set off. This same kind of theory could be made in practice, basically, with a dirty bomb. They could essentially bring this close enough to maybe one main source and detonate this thing that would cause the power outage throughout probably the whole eastern side of the United States. Could you imagine? Because the United States is big. Could you imagine the entire half of the United States going back to the Stone Age? Now, you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, Brian, but here's the thing. Our United States government spends just an ungodly amount of money on our defense budget, right? Surely somebody along the way thought that this could happen. Under the Trump administration, Trump said, hey, what's going on with this? And they said, I don't know, we'll look into it. And then it was just kind of pushed under the desk drawer. There hasn't been any, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, please, for the love of God, tell me I'm wrong. And ease my anxiety that there has not been any real advances on our own protection. So, as I said, and as I've said in the past, I wanted to bring this kind of situation to your all's eyes, especially now with what's happened with the intelligence community. And, you know, if I know that the majority of people are saying that, you know, this is just a push to try to get funding for Ukraine as a result of a nuclear space program that Russia is trying to set up. Y'all, we have Space Force. Like, we have a military branch already dedicated to dealing with this situation. To me, it makes zero sense. And if this was the case, if this was what he was talking about, and, you know, if this is a situation that's going to happen by tomorrow, you know, I believe that Mike Turner should be censured for unnecessarily causing a basically panic in the United States. I've been thinking about this for a while, okay? I've seen the signs. I want to convey, in my opinion, what is a rational solution to you all that you could protect yourselves without being one of these millionaires building bunkers and crap. So I reached out to a company called Carington Event. I had an awesome conversation with them. They loved the idea, and they sent me some products to try about 3 months ago. The main product that they have is a system that hooks up to your vehicle, okay? Because when this EMP hits, you're not going to have a vehicle. It's going to take it out. Unless it's an older vehicle that doesn't rely on modern computer systems. I decided I was going to hook that up to my vehicle because I had a lot of questions. You know, I'm pretty well mechanically inclined. I work on my vehicles myself. Always have. It's just a happenstance of being poor, growing up poor. So this system easily hooks up to your vehicle. It plugs right into your battery. Now, I'll be honest, I was a little bit skeptical about plugging something into the negative, plugging into something to the positive, and looking down, and it looks like there's a wire in between, and I'm just sitting there staring at it like I'm going to get electrocuted. But in reality, it was totally fine. There's also these ferrites that you attach to the battery cable, so when that EMP does hit, it distributes the particles how they're supposed to be distributed. Not going to pretend like I understand, because I don't. So it just is what it is. Another thing that they sent me, I can get them on here. These Faraday bags. Now, these bags are absolutely essential because inside of them, they can act as a dry bag as well. So inside of it, I keep a tablet. On this tablet, I have maps of the entire United States. I have trails of the United States. That way, in a bug out situation, I've already got everything what I need here. Now, I've also got hard copy backups as well in case this doesn't work. But this could be a great utilization of space as opposed to holding a bunch of maps. Also keep a power bank inside of it, fully charged, and I keep some radios. These happen to be short range radios. I have a ham radio as well. These systems are very simple and they protect your devices from the initial impact. I'm not getting paid by Faraday either. Just want to make sure that you're all aware of that. This is as a result of necessity. I want to tell my audience about a threat that I think is imminent. I think this is going to happen, and you all need to be prepared for it. I think it could happen this year, as a matter of fact. Another situation that you're going to have to prepare for is how are you going to get water for yourself? I've also spoken with Icon Lifesaver, which I'm going to talk about the water part of this whole thing in another video, and how the effects of this could dramatically change basically how we survive as a human race. And it comes down to water. So anyway, that's about all I got. I hope you all like this video. It's a little bit different. I've been itching to get this information out to you all. If you all are looking for a system, definitely go check out Faraday. They are an awesome company. Go check out Faraday Defense. They are an awesome company. They supported me by allowing me to test their products, to be able to share with you all. I think that's huge because, you know, I'm not that big of a creator. So for them to offer to help us, I think is awesome. So y'all go show them some love. They've got tons of products you could check out. I just want everybody to be safe. You know, these people, I've come to the realization they just don't care about us. It just is what it is. It's always been like this, I suppose. I guess we all just kind of have different images of the way things are in the world. I've learned that as I've grown up. But anyway, let me know what you all think. Tell me what you all are preparing for. You think something else is going to happen? You think a nuclear strike's going to happen? If you all like this video, let me know. I'd love to get your all's opinion on it. I want to talk a little bit more about this whole situation. And maybe I can go in a little bit further depth. So, yeah, till next time.